Okay. So in the last session, we have discussed about the manual sharing, and we have discussed how can we share a record to a user manually with the help of sharing button we have discussed. I hope everybody has done with this process here. Done, everyone? Okay. Now, so today we'll see how can we share the record to the multiple users. So that already we have discussed in the last session, if you want to share a record to the multiple users, then instead of sharing each and every record one by one manually with the help of the sharing button, we can able to collect all those users as a group, and to that group we can share the record. So whenever I'm sharing the record to the group, then automatically all the users inside the group will be getting the access on that record. So that we have discussed how to create the public groups in Salesforce and what a public group contains inside this. And how can we add the members to that group, and where all these public groups information and the group members information will get resides, we have discussed in the last session. Okay? Now, so now today we'll see how to share the record to the multiple users. Okay? Now, so in the last session, we have created a public group with the name Hyderabad Sales Group, which will be having the two members inside that. One is the testing user, second one is the customer user. Now, if you want to share the record to these people, then just you can share the record to that public group itself. Whenever I'm sharing the record to that public group, then in that group members, in that group, whatever the group members are available, those people will get the access by default. Then how can we share the record to the public group? Now let's see manually here. Okay? Now, so let's take a small use case. Now, create an account record by login with the development user account and share the record to Hyderabad Sales Group with read-write access. Okay, with read-write access. I want to create a new account record inside my object with the user credentials development user. Once the account record has been created successfully, then I want to make this record to be get visible to the Hyderabad Sales Group members with read-write access. Now, then how can we do this? Now let's see practically. So whenever if you want to share the record to the people, first of all, record should be there. So we have to log in into the development user account first. As a step 1, log in into the development user account. And as a step 2, create an account record inside that object which you would like to share. Which record you want to share to the people? First of all, create the record. Or already if you have created a record, then use that record also, no problem. Okay? So now create the record. Once the record has been getting created, then share the record to the people by using that sharing button. Okay? So still I would like to use that manual sharing concept only. By using manual sharing, we can share the record to a single user, we can share the record to the multiple users also. Yesterday we have discussed how to share the record to that single user with the help of this sharing button. Today we are going to be discussing how to share the record to the multiple users here. And then we'll move forward to that second process, that is sharing rules. Now, so now here in this case, I would like to share the record to that Hyderabad Sales Group people with a read-write access. Then how can we share and how can we test this process? Now let's see practically. Now, so in this case here, what we can do as a step 1, We need to log in into the development user account. As a step 2, create an account record. And as a step 3, share the record to Hyderabad sales group. With a read-write access. I want to share the record manually. Now. So now let me implement this process. Once the record has been shared, then we need to test that record also, whether all the group members will be able to access that record or not. Along with that, I want to do the negative testing also. Okay, outside of these group members, okay, other than these group members, if any other people are able to access my record or not, I would like to cross-check. The record which I have shared, that record should be visible only to this group members itself, not to the other people. So, other than these group members, those people should not be able to access. Now, I would like to perform both positive testing and negative testing also both. Now, let's see how can we do this one. So now let's go to your Salesforce instance. Log in into the development user account by using that manage users. So we are having the development user account is available here. Go to the development user account, click on login. I'm logging into the development user over here. Now, I'm creating a new record inside my account object. Okay, now, I'm creating the record right now. Now, share account to nothing but I would like to give a name here. Now, share record to public group. Or else simply we can able to say public group test account. I'm indicating the name as public group test account. So now I would like to create a new account record with the name public group test account. I'm giving the type value as installation partner, industry, some healthcare, annual revenue, some 56,000, rating value, some heart, phone number, I'm giving some value over here. Fax number, website, ownership. So I'm giving that customer priority also. I'm giving the active status. So I have entered some values inside my fields. So now I'm creating a new record. So as soon as once you click on that save button, now the record has been created successfully. Now how can we verify who are all the people can access my record now? How can we cross-check that? Simply click on sharing button. Click on sharing button. Now it is indicating that your record will be getting visible to only to the development user. Along with this user, his manager will be having the access as it is because of role hierarchy. So now this user will be having the access, and that too he will be having the full access on the record because he is the owner of the record here. He is the record owner, so that he will be having that full control on this record. Now I want to share the record to the public group. How can we share the record to the public group? Now let's see. Just to go to that record which you would like to share, go to that sharing button and then click on add. To whom you would like to share the record. Add the users or add the public groups or roles or subordinates to whom you want to share the record. I would like to share the record to the public group. So click on add button. Now tell me to whom you want to share the record right now. Based on roles and subordinates, based on users, or based on public groups, to whom you want to share? Public groups. If I'm selecting users, all the users' information will be getting populated. If you want to share the record to the public group, select that public group and then select the group to whom you want to share the record. Select that Hyderabad sales group to whom you want to share the record here. Now select that level of access you would like to grant. Now for these group members, I would like to grant the read-write permission on this record. So I'm selecting that account access level as read-write. Now click on save button. So once you click on this save button, automatically the record has been shared to this particular user over here. Okay, the record has been shared to this user. So now this is the public group. This is not a normal user. This is the public group here. So now it will be storing inside the group object whose ID will be starting with a 00G. Okay. Now, so now for these public group members, we have granted read write permission. So now these people are able to access the record because of the manual sharing here. Manually, we have shared the record so that these people are able to see this record over here. Okay. Now, so now we are done with this sharing the record to the public group. Now, let's go with the testing process here. Now then what we can do? How can we test this one? Who are all the members of this group? Customer, user and the testing user. These are the two members are available. Testing user and the customer users will be the member of this particular group. So we have to log in into the testing user. Please verify whether this user is able to access that record or not with read write permission. And then log in with that customer user, test this record, whether the record is visible to this user or not with read write permission. Okay. And then we can do the negative testing also. Other than this, we are having some more users are also available. Like as manager user, let's verify with the manager user whether that person is able to see the record or not. That user should not be able to access my record over here. Okay. Now, so let's go with the testing process now. I'm coming out from this user account. So let's go with that. The customer user, he is one of the member. Go to that account. Get the records. Now, the record is visible. Public group test account. Whatever the record that we have created, the record is visible right now over here. So now the record has been created by the development user. Even though the owner of that record is a development user, customer user can able to see the record here. Now he will be having the view permission and he can able to modify the record also. Now I'm changing this record value. I'm changing from healthcare to some hospitality. I'm changing this industry value. Click on save. The record has been modified. That means we have granted read write permission. Granting the read write permission means what? Will these people can able to remove my record? No. Only the view permission, edit permission will be available. When this person is trying to be deleting my record, he will be getting that message, insufficient privileges. Okay. Only the owner will be having the full rights to remove the record. Other people just they can see, they can able to modify. Okay. Now customer user is able to access my record, he can able to edit. Now let me test with the second user also, the testing user. Login as the testing user account. Let's verify the record, whether the record is visible or not. Now this person also able to see the record, that is public group test account. Now this person is trying to be modifying the record. I'm changing the rating value from hard to warm. I'm changing that value here. Now this person also can able to see my record here. They can able to edit. When you click on delete button, he should not be able to perform that operation because he is not having the rights to perform this operation. Okay. So both the users are able to access my record and those people can able to see and they can able to edit my record values as well. Okay. Now, the next one. Go with the negative testing. So along with these users, we have one more user is available, manager user. He is not part of that group. Let's verify whether this member is able to access my record or not. Let's go to the account. Get the account records. Now tell me, will the record is visible over here? Public group test account record is visible? No. That means this user will not be able to access my record. Only that public group members can able to see my record and they can able to modify. Apart from those people, other users, okay, they can't able to access my record here. Okay. This is how we can able to share the record to the users. It may be to a single user, it may be to the multiple users also by creating a public group. Okay. Clear? This is the concept of manual sharing here. As part of this one, we have discussed about the manual sharing, which can be done with the help of the sharing button. Through this sharing button, we can share the record to a single user or we can share the record to the multiple users also by creating the public groups. Okay? Clear? Now, next. So next go with that automated sharing here. automated sharing. For example here, why should we go for this automated sharing generally? What is the need? Let me explain here. For example, I have few users inside my organization. Like I'm having the user 1, user 2, user 3, user 4. Like that I'm having some user 10. Totally 10 users are there inside my organization. These are the members of this my organization. These people are able to keep on creating their own records, and then sometime they are going to be sharing the records to themselves also. One user is sharing the record to the other people here. Now, for example, I am also one of the member inside this organization. I am also one of the user. So I am having a record here, record 1. I want to share the record to the user 1 and the user 4. Okay, 2 users. Then what we can do, create the record first, record 1, and go to that manual sharing, share the record to that user 1 and the user 4 by selecting both the users. Okay, like for example, whenever if you want to share the record, just you can able to go with that record itself here. Okay, now for example, let me show you practically. Now take the record here which you would like to share. Take the record which you would like to share, click on sharing button, click on add button, select the users to whom you want to share. I want to share the record to the user 1 and some user 3. For example, I'm selecting both the users, click on save button, the record will be getting shared. Okay. If it is a single record, then we can go with that manual process here because it won't take much time. So we can spend the time, we can share the record to the people to whomever you want. Now, I have record 2 also. Second record, which I would like to share to the same people or to the different people also, whatever, anything. I want to share this record 2 also to the user 1 and the user 4. Then what we can do, we can spend 1 more minute time and we can share the record to the people manually. I have 1 more record here, which I need to share to the same people. Again, we need to spend 1 more minute of time and to share the record manually. Like that here, I am having so many records are available here. I am having so many records are available. Like for example, I am having the record 4, record 5, record 6, record 7, record 8. Like that here, I am having so many records are available here. I am having so many records up to record 400. So 400 records are there. Now then what we can do in this case? Will you repeat this process one by one manually? No. Why? Because if it is some 2 records, 3 records, 10 records, then okay, fine. We can spend some time, we can manage the time, we can share the record manually to the people. But if the number of records are more, if the number of records count is more, like as 100 records, 1000 records, 10,000 records, at that time, sharing each and every record to the people is very, very difficult. It's a time-consuming process. So instead of sharing these records manually by my own, I would like to make this process automated. Okay? Instead of sharing this record manually by my own, I would like to make this process automated. Just I will keep on create the records, my process will keep on share the records automatically over here. I don't want to share the record by my own. That sharing the record process, I would like to make it delegated to the Salesforce application itself. My application has to take care of that responsibility of sharing the record. Then how can we share the record automatically to the people? For that one, we are using a feature called as automated sharing process. Okay, automated sharing process. With the help of this automated sharing process, we can able to share the record to 1 or more number of users okay, automatically by default. No need to share the records manually by your own. We can share the record automatically to the people over here. For that one, we are going to be configuring some automated rules which are called as sharing rules. Okay, which are called as sharing rules. Now, in this case, Instead of sharing the records manually by my own, I would like to configure the automated rules which are called as sharing rule, so that sharing rule will fire automatically here. The rule will fire automatically. Like for example, when you go to a banking system, whenever I'm depositing the money by visiting the bank or by using some CDM machine or by using that online transfer, whatever, automatically an email notification and SMS notification will be getting generated. So who is sending that email notifications to you? The bank people are sending that email notification to you regarding your account has been credited some so and so amount. The bank people are sending that notification? No. The bank people are sending that SMS notification to you, like, dear customer, your account number ending with some 1234 has been credited with so and so amount. This is the net available balance. The bank people are sending this SMS? No. Because they can't send the notification to each and every person manually, because so many customers are visiting the bank every day. So sending the notifications to each and every person manually is a time-consuming process. So in this case, nowadays the customers are expecting the confirmation immediately. Because for example, come to a scenario. I went to the bank. I have deposited the money just now by visiting the bank counter. Now, generally the people are expecting the confirmation, amount has been credited. I have waited for 2 minutes inside the bank. Once the deposit has been done, okay, once I visit the counter to deposit the money, I have waited 2 minutes inside the bank, but still I did not get the message regarding my amount crediting here. Then what the human being will thought? The people will be having a thought that maybe the bank system is not working properly. The bank application is not working. Still, my amount is not yet credited. Immediately, the people will go to the nearest ATM center. They will verify the balance here, whether amount has been credited successfully or not. Because the people don't have that much of patience to wait for some time. They're expecting the confirmation immediately. They're expecting the acknowledgement immediately here. In this case here, so that we can't send these kind of notifications manually, we can make these processes automated here. So my system can able to generate these kind of automated notifications. Like the similar way here also, I don't want to share the record manually to the people, because here not only one record, we are having so many number of records are available. So I don't have that much of time to share each and every record manually by my own. So that I would like to make this process automated with the help of an automated rules called as sharing rules. Okay. Now, in this case here, how can we create this as sharing rules? So now when coming to the sharing rules can be applied on every object in Salesforce. It may be standard, it may be custom. This can be applicable on every object in Salesforce. On standard objects also we can create some sharing rules, and the custom objects also we can create sharing rules. Then basically what is the purpose of sharing rules? Sharing rules are used to share the record to one or more users dynamically at runtime. Without manual process, without using sharing button, we can share the record to the people automatically here. For that purpose, we are using sharing rules. Okay? So whenever I'm going to be creating the record, automatically my record has to be shared. Whenever I'm updating the record has to be get shared to the people. So at that time here, I don't want to share manually. I would like to make this process with the help of a rule. Okay? Now with the help of sharing rule, we can share the record to one or more number of users dynamically at runtime without using that manual process. Okay? Clear? Now, make a note over here. Sharing rules. By using sharing rules, we can share the records to one or more users dynamically at runtime. So instead of sharing the records manually, we can able to share the record automatically also at runtime. Now, in this case, when this sharing rule will be getting fired? When the sharing rule will fire? Suppose, for example, I'm performing a bank transaction. I have deposited some money here. I'm getting some SMS and email notification. When you will get the message here? Before deposit or after deposit? after deposit. Once the deposit has been done. Today, I'm withdrawing some money from my account through ATM center. So when you will be getting that message? Before withdraw or after withdraw? After withdraw. That means we're always after, okay? After insertion or after updation. Here also, when coming to the sharing rules are always fired after creating a record and after updating the record here. Once a new record has been created successfully, then after creating the record, after saving the record inside the object, sharing rule will fire. Suppose in future, if you are updating the record, if you are modifying the record, once the record changes has been committed back to the database, then it will be firing that sharing rule. So that sharing rules are always firing after insertion and after updation of the record inside your object here. Okay? Now, make a note here. Sharing rule will always fired after insert, after update of a record inside the object. Whenever a record has been created successfully, whenever your record has been updated successfully, automatically sharing rule will fire. Now, the sharing rules can be applicable on any object also. It may be applicable on both the standard and custom objects also. This can be applicable on both the standard and custom objects. Because if the custom objects OWD is private, then if you want to share the record, then we can create the sharing rules on your custom objects also. Now, in this case, how many sharing rules can I create, okay, on these objects here? There is no limitation. On each object, we can create multiple sharing rules also. Okay, we can create multiple sharing rules also. On a single object, we can create multiple sharing rules. Okay, now that possibility is available here. Depends upon your requirement. Okay, depends upon your requirement, we can create multiple sharing rules also on each and every object. For example, on account object, I want to create 4 sharing rules. On the contact object, 2 sharing rules. On the case object, 5 sharing rules. On my custom object, customer, some 7 sharing rules. Like that we can able to create. There is no limitation that on an object, these many number of sharing rules we need to create. We don't have such kind of rules. That purely depends upon your application requirement. On an object, we can create 1 or more number of sharing rules also. That possibility is there. So in this case, if all the sharing rules are available in a single place, then how can we differentiate? These rules are belongs to account object, these rules are belongs to case object, these rules are belongs to contact object. How can we differentiate? For that one, Salesforce is providing a different sections to you. All the account sharing rules are in one separate section. Contact sharing rules are in a separate section. Opportunity sharing rules are in a separate section. Case sharing rules are in separate sections. So that here, Salesforce is providing the various sections to you in order to segregate the sharing rules so that we can able to identify very easily. On my account object, whatever the sharing rules we have created, all are available inside a separate section. On your case object, whatever the sharing rules you have created, those are available inside a separate section so that Salesforce is providing the separate sections to you. In each section, we can able to see that sharing rules also. So for that one, Salesforce is going to be providing the various separate sections to you. Okay, inside that section, we can create that sharing rule also related to that object here. Okay, then what are those various sections are available here? Like, when coming to the Salesforce, it is providing so many sections to you, like as account sharing rules, opportunity sharing rules, case sharing rules, lead sharing rules, your position sharing rules, hiring manager sharing rules. Like that, here Salesforce is providing so many sections to you. Then where we can see all these sections. Okay, now let's see practically in this case. Okay, now make a note over here. An object can have 1 or more sharing rules. Okay, an object can have 1 or more sharing rules. we can segregate the sharing rules based on the object. Based on the object with the various sections as below. Like account sharing rules. There is a section is available here. Opportunity sharing rules. Case sharing rules. Lead sharing rules. Like that, your customer object sharing rule. Customer sharing rules. And the position sharing rules. Like that, here we can able to create the sharing rules in the associated section. For every object, Salesforce is providing a separate section. In that section, we can able to create the sharing rules related to that object here. Then where we can see all these sections over here. We can see the sections in this navigation. Go to the setup menu. Go to the administer menu in the left panel. Go to the security controls. Go to the sharing settings. Inside that you will be having a section called as sharing rules section. Go to the sharing rules section. Go to the associated objects sharing rules section. For example, if you want to create the sharing rule on your account object, then go to that account sharing rules section. And then click on new button and then create the sharing rule. Depends upon your requirement, we can able to share the record over here. Done? Now. So now here in this case here, in order to create that sharing rule, we have to go with this navigation. So now in this case, let me verify that navigation process first. So let's go to that organization. Go to the administrator menu in the left panel. Go to that security controls and expand it. Click on sharing settings link. Okay, click on sharing settings link. Once you click on the sharing settings link, you will be having the option called as OWD. Yesterday we have discussed in the previous sessions. Now below this OWD section, you will be having the option called as sharing rules section is available. Okay, here we have the sharing rules section is available. So in this case here, in order to segregate the sharing rules available on the objects, Salesforce is providing a separate sections to you. Like lead sharing rules in this place, in this section. Account sharing rules in this section. Opportunity sharing rules in this section. case sharing rules in this section, campaign sharing rules in this section. Like that here, Salesforce has given so many sections to you. Okay. Now, Salesforce has given so many sections to you. Depends upon your requirement, we can able to create the sharing rules also. Now we can create the sharing rule on your customer object also, which is my custom object. Hiring manager object here. Position object. Do we have candidate object here? Why? It is master detail. That means if I am sharing the position record, automatically candidate record also will share by default here. That's what. That's what here we can't create any sharing rule on the child object which is having master detail association over here. Because that already we have discussed that in master detail association, the child record is purely controlled by the parent itself here. Okay? Now. So in this case here, depends upon the object on which you want to create the sharing rule, just to go to that associated section and then click on new button to create the sharing rules over here. So on a single object, we can create one or more number of sharing rules also. Okay. On a single object, we can create one or more number of sharing rules also. That possibility has been given by Salesforce. Like for example, here come to a scenario. So now why they are giving the possibility to create the multiple sharing rules here? For example, assume that today I want to buy a washing machine. So I went to that Bajaj Electronics showroom here. Everybody is aware of Bajaj Electronics showroom here. Okay? In multiple locations they are having their showroom. So now whenever I'm stepping into that Bajaj Electronics showroom, at the entry gate, there is a person is available here. A sales representative is there. So he is asking you, sir, what do you want here? I said that I want to buy a washing machine. So then he will be routing you. So please go to that person. That person is a master who is explaining about each and every washing machine. Suppose for example here, one more person is entering into the Bajaj Electronics. He told that here, I want to buy a TV. Then the sales representative is routing to you. So now go to that person. That person is expert while explaining about each and every TV and the models and the features, everything. If you want to buy a AC, go to that person here. That means what they're routing. Okay, they're routing here. Depends upon what some condition, depends upon the product which you want to buy. If it is a TV, go to this person. If it is a washing machine, go to this person. If it is an AC, go to this person. Like that here, they're routing over here. Okay. So in this case, we need to create the multiple sharing rules also. To route the people, nothing but to share the record to that one and first user, we need to create one sharing rule. To share the record to this person, one more sharing rule. To share the record to another person, one more sharing rule. Like that, multiple sharing rules we can able to create on a single object also. The possibility is there. Okay. Now, in this case here, whenever I'm going to be creating the sharing rules, we have two types of sharing rules available in Salesforce. Okay. Upon creating the sharing rules, we have two types of sharing rules. The first one is the owner-based sharing rules. Second one is the criteria-based sharing rules. Owner-based sharing rules and then criteria-based sharing rules. These are the two types of sharing rules are available in Salesforce. Then what do you mean by owner-based and what do you mean by criteria-based? Owner-based in the sense what? If the record owner is this person, then share the record to that person over here. If the record owner is this person, share the record to that person. If the record owner is this person, share the record to that person here. Like that. Depends upon the owner of the record, we can able to share the record to the other users also. That possibility is available. Okay. Only purely based on the record owner, we can able to share the record to the people. Now, in this case here, suppose for example, sometimes I don't want to share the record based on owner. I'm having some certain conditions are available here. Okay. I'm having some certain conditions. Based on some conditions, I would like to share the record. That means I will decide the conditions here. I will define the condition depends upon my customer record. Like for example, whenever I'm creating my account record, if the account records industry equals to banking, then share the record to that person over here. Because all the banking customers are dealing with that person over here. If the account records industry equals to finance, share the record to this person because all the financial customers is dealing right now over here. If in the account records industry equals to some manufacturing, share the record to that person here because she is dealing with all the manufacturing customers. Like that here, I would like to share, depends upon some certain conditions. In this case, whenever if you are sharing the record based on some certain criteria, then we can go with that criteria-based sharing rules. Criteria means what? Conditions. Based on some conditions also, we can share the record. At that time, whenever I'm creating the record, or whenever I'm updating the record, automatically sharing rule will fire. It will verify the conditions. If the conditions are matching, if the conditions are met, automatically record will be getting shared over here. Okay? Automatically record will be getting shared to the person here. Suppose, for example, assume that I have created one sharing rule on my account object here. If the account record industry equals to some banking, I want to share the record to that person over here. So that I have created one sharing rule. If the account records industry equals to some finance, I want to share the record to that person. So that I have created one more sharing rule. Two sharing rules are available here. Now, I have created a record where upon creating this record, I have given that industry as banking. What will happen? Once a record has been created successfully, my sharing rule has been fired. It has verified the condition. Industry equals to banking. Rule 1 has been fired. It is sharing the record to person here. Okay. After half an hour, I have opened the record. I have modified the industry value from banking to finance. What will happen? Again, sharing rules will be getting fired. That means what? Not only at the time of creation, at the time of updation also again sharing rule will be fired. My first sharing rule will fire. It will check the condition. Industry is what? Finance. If it is banking, then only it is sharing the record. But this industry is not banking, this is finance right now. So sharing rule will not share the record. Second sharing rule will file. It will check the condition. Condition is matching. Industry equals to finance. Automatically, it will share the record to the person here. Okay? In this case, what happened? Sharing rules are always firing on after insertion, after updation. Both the cases, sharing rule will fire. Upon firing that sharing rule, it will check all the conditions. If all the conditions are met, then only the record will be getting visible to the people. If the conditions are not met, record will not be shared. Okay? Now, come to one more scenario. For example, here, I have created one sharing rule on my account object, where if the account records rating is equals to hard, I want to share the record to that person over here. Okay? I have created the sharing rule. If the rating is equals to hard, share the record to that person here. Now today we have created a record just now. I have given the rating as hard. Record has been created. Sharing rule has been applied. It verified the condition. Condition is matching. Record has been shared to the person here. Okay? Now, after few minutes, I have opened the record, modified the rating value from hard to cold. What will happen in this case? Already he is having the access on my record here, because my sharing rule has shared the record to him. Now we have modified the record. Once the record has been modified, again sharing rule will fire. It will check the condition. Condition is matching in this case? No. Once the condition is not matching, it will remove the access to the person from my record here. He cannot able to access the record from there onwards. Okay, till the conditions are matching, the users can able to access the record. If the conditions are not matching, it will be removing the access for that user from my record itself over here. Okay? Clear? Now, so in this case, when coming to the sharing rules, we have two types of sharing rules are available. Upon sharing the record, we can share the record based on owner, and we can share the record based on some certain user-defined conditions also. Okay? Clear? Now, let's see. How can we create this as sharing rules right now? Upon creating the rule, we have to choose what type of sharing rule you would like to create. Either owner-based or either criteria-based over here. Okay? Clear? Now make a small use case here. How can we share the record to the people? Now, create a sharing rule on the object, on the account object to share the record to Hyderabad Sales Group, when the below criteria has been met. When the below criteria has been met. Whenever I'm going to be creating an account record inside my object, then I would like to cross-check some conditions. If the conditions are met, then I would like to share the record to the Hyderabad Sales Group people. Now, the criteria is, inside my account object, the rating should be equals to heart. And the second condition is, inside my account object, industry should be equals to manufacturing. And the account records type should be equals to the customer direct. And the account record active status should be equals to yes. And the account records customer priority should be equals to some high. If these conditions are met, then only I would like to share the record to that Hyderabad Sales Group people over here. If these conditions are met, then I want to share the record to that Hyderabad Sales Group people here. Multiple. You can keep on create the record, it will take care of sharing the records here. Okay, multiple records also will share. So now let's see how can we create the sharing rule on my account object here. Now tell me on what object we need to create the sharing rule for this one? Account object here. Okay, account object here. What type of sharing rule you want to create? Owner based or criteria based? Why? Because we need to cross check some certain conditions over here. Okay. Now, in this case, the object name is I want to create that sharing rule on account object here. Rule type is criteria based here. Criteria based sharing rule. Share the records with. To whom you want to share the records? Hyderabad Sales Group. Share the record to the Hyderabad Sales Group over here. So I would like to create the record inside my object, then automatically my sharing rule has to file. If the rule is matching with the conditions, then it has to share the record here. Now, let's see how can we create this sharing rule on my account object now. So let's go to your Salesforce instance and go to that security controls, go to the sharing settings, go to that sharing rules section and create a sharing rule on account object here. Okay, now. So let's go to that sharing rules section. You know the navigation also here. Now, tell me on what object we need to create the sharing rule right now. Account object. So go to that account the sharing rules section. Here you will be having two buttons are available over here. One is new button, second one is recalculate button. Then what do you mean by this recalculate? New button we know to create a new sharing rule file. Then recalculate means what? Changing the conditions. Suppose for example here, assume that I have created this sharing rule right now here. According to my customer requirement, this is the rule we have created. These are the conditions we have added inside my rule here. It is working very fine. After a few months, my client's business may be getting changed. At that time, my client asked me to add one more condition also over here. At that time, what needs to be done? We have to go to the sharing rule, add the additional condition, whatever he is expecting here. At that time, whatever the sharing rule that we have modified right now, I want to reapply that sharing rule on the existing records again over here. Okay? I want to reapply that sharing rule on that existing record. So that here we are going to be using recalculate. Recalculate button is used to reapply the newly modified sharing rule on the existing records again one more time. Okay? So now I would like to create a new sharing rule. Click on the new button to create a new sharing rule. Now specify the sharing rule label and then rule name and the description here. I'm indicating that. Now, account record sharing rule to Hyderabad sales group. Okay. So now account record sharing rule to Hyderabad sales group. So now I would like to share that record to the Hyderabad sales group so that I'm creating a new sharing rule inside this. Now, so once you specify the rule label, name and the description, that is what is the purpose of the sharing rule, we can give the description also. And then select that rule type. What type of sharing rule that you would like to create. Now, either criteria based or owner based. You have to select that. You will be having the two types are available. Owner based sharing rule or criteria based sharing rule over here. In this case, we can able to specify if the record owner is this person. Okay, if the record is owner is this person, then share the record to this person. Like that we can do that. But sometimes I don't want to share the record based on owner. I would like to share the record based on some condition, because as part of my business use case, I'm having these are the conditions needs to be get verified before sharing the record to the Hyderabad sales group people. So in this case here, select that rule type as criteria based. Select that criteria based sharing rule. Now it is providing one more section in order to add the conditions to be get verified before sharing the record. Now specify each and every condition one by one inside this. Now, so now the first condition I would like to verify rating field should be equals to heart. I'm specifying the condition. Inside my account object, I would like to verify the rating field. Rating field should be equals to heart. Select the value. And the next one. Second one is industry. My account records industry value should be equals to manufacturing. So select that industry as manufacturing. And then third one. My active status should be equals to yes. Record should be in active status right now. And then the account recorded type should be account type. Type value should be equals to customer direct here. Okay, the customer direct. And next, any more conditions are there? Customer priority. So now the customer priority here. Customer priority should be equals to high. Okay, high. These are the 5 conditions here. Now, whenever I'm creating the new record, my sharing rule has to be get verified. So now, if the record is meeting all these 5 conditions are not here. If the 5 conditions has been met, then I want to share the record over here. Okay. Now I would like to share the record. Whatever the record that I have created or whatever the record that I have edited or modified, so during that creation, during that modification, my rule will verify whether this record is satisfying all these 5 conditions or not. If the record is satisfying all these 5 conditions, I want to share the record over here. Now you have to select the people to whom you want to share with. Now, in this case, share with to whom you want to share. What options are available here? Public group, and then roles and subordinate here. Now, previously, I have shared the record through manual sharing. Upon sharing the record by using sharing button, we can share the record to the people in 4 ways. Like based on owner, based on the role we can share, based on the roles and subordinates, based on public group, based on users. But do we have any concept over here, users? Now, sometimes in the entry point of view, they will raise a question. So now here in this case, if the record is meeting with all these conditions, I want to share the record to only to that testing user. How? If it is a public group, then I'm having the option of selecting the public group over here. We can select the public group to whom you want to share. But I don't want to share the record to the public group. I want to share the record to only one user. Then how? What we can do now? I don't want to go with manual process because so many records are there I want to share. I don't want to go with role because in that role so many users are there. Create a group with only one user, simple. Okay? Whenever we are going with that sharing concept, observe this one. If it is a manual sharing, we can share the record based on the record. Okay? Based on that record user, we can share the record based on roles and subordinate, and the based on public group also. But with the help of automated sharing, we can share the record to the people based on public group, based on roles and subordinates only, not based on an individual user. But if you want to share the record to a single user, then simply create a public group with that particular user itself. That means that particular public group will be having only one member inside that. That member is nothing but testing user here. Okay? Create a public group with only one user and then share the record to that public group over here. Okay? Now, this is the concept over here. Now in this case, I want to share the record to that Hyderabad public group here. So the Hyderabad sales group. So now this is the sales group we have created previously. I'm sharing that record. So what is the level of access you would like to grant right now? I would like to grant the read-only access over here so that I'm indicating the default account and the contract access levels are read-only permission over here. Okay? Clear? Now click on save button. Okay, now click on save button here. So now your sharing rule has been created. Now your sharing rule is in that process over here. So it will take the few seconds in order to initialize your sharing rule over here. My sharing rule has been created, still it is in process over here. One or more sharing operations has been initiated over here. Just refresh your user interface. Now sharing rule has been in active status right now. So now this is the sharing rule which I have created on my account object over here. Okay, this is the sharing rule. On my account object, we have created a sharing rule which is going to be verifying these are the conditions. It will verify if the record is meeting with these conditions, then it will be sharing the record to that Hyderabad sales group with a read-only access over here. Like the similar way, we can create one more sharing rule. Also, click on new button again, create one more sharing rule. If the record is meeting with different condition, share the record to some different people. Like that, multiple sharing rules also we can create on a single object also. Okay? This is the way we are going to be making that sharing process as automated. Okay, with the help of sharing rules. Okay? Now. So now in this case here, now we are done with that creating that sharing rule over here. Now, I want to test this sharing rule right now. How can we test it now? What we can do? Then what we can do? I would like to create a record. If I'm creating a record, then sharing rule will fire or not? Yes. Okay. Now, let me create a record here. Let me do the testing process here. I'm creating a new record. I'm creating a new record with the name Automated Sharing Test Account. Okay. I'm creating a record with the name Automated Sharing Test Account. I'm giving the type as Customer Direct. Industry, some manufacturing. Annual revenue, some 45 lakhs. Rating value, heart. Phone number, I'm entering some value. Fax number, some different value. Website, ownership. And then I'm indicating that customer priority as high, active status as no. Now, so now here in this case here, now totally 5 conditions we have prepared. From that one, the first condition, type condition is satisfying over here. Second condition is what? Industry. Industry is also satisfying over here. It is also manufacturing. Third one, rating condition. This is also valid. Fourth condition, customer priority is also high. Active status is no. Now this condition is failing over here. Now in this case, will the record will be sharing to those people? No, record will not share. Now let me test this process over here. Now I'm saving the record. So once you click on that save button, record will be created. Once a record has been created successfully, then sharing rule will be getting applied on this record. When the record is meeting with all the conditions, then record will be getting shared. Now, let's see. So who are all the people are able to see my record right now? Only owner of the record and his manager. Other people will not be able to see that. How can we verify this one? Click on sharing button here. Once you go to the sharing button, only the training batch user will be able to see that because this is the user who has created the record here. He is the owner of the record over here. Okay. Now, for example, go back to the record. Let me change that value here. I am going to be indicating that. Active status I am making it as yes. Now tell me, all the conditions are meeting right now or not? Yes. Now again sharing rule will fire or not? Yes. Now click on save. So now the record has been updated. Sharing rule will be getting reactivated again and it is going to be verifying the condition. The conditions are met. It will share the record. Go to that sharing button here. Now the training batch user and the Hyderabad sales group also people, both the people can able to access the record here. Okay. That means sharing rules is not only executing upon creation, upon updation also the record will get filed here. Okay. Now let me go back to the record again here. Every time whenever you are modifying the record, sharing rule will always file over here. Now I'm modifying the record. I'm changing the rating value from hot to warm. Now what will happen? Now in this case, will the sharing rule will fire or not? Yes, again it will fire. Check the conditions here. Go to that, the sharing. So now in this case, only the training batch user will be able to access the record. Those people will not be able to access because the conditions are not meeting. One condition has been failed. Suppose here, I would like to make that condition also true again. Now I'm making that value as hot. Now click on save. Again sharing rule will fire. It will share the record to the people over here. Again, these people will be able to access this. That means what? Whenever you are creating the record and whenever you are updating the record, in all the cases, sharing rule will get fired. But not before, after. After creating the record, after updating the record, sharing rule will fire. Okay? This is a way we can able to share the record to the people over here. Now in this case, no need to share the record manually by your own. So now just keep on, you can create the record by using the various mechanisms. It may be user interface, it may be Visual First Page, it may be the data loader, it may be import wizard, it may be third-party tools, it may be Apex programming also, whatever the way that you want. Create the records by your own, sharing will be taken care by your sharing rules itself here. So no need to share the record manually to the people here. Okay? So that will be taken care by the sharing rule automatically by default here. Okay? Clear? Now. So this is the way we are going to be sharing the record through automated sharing process that is called as sharing rules. So this is the concept of the automated sharing which can be done with the help of sharing rules. With the help of the sharing rules, we can share the record to a single user or multiple users. Okay? Clear? Now, next one. So now let me explain here few drawbacks inside this sharing rule. Okay? Now. So we have created a sharing rule over here. This is the sharing rule I have created. So upon creating the sharing rule, what I have specified over here? What we specified? Upon creating the sharing rule, I have specified the conditions to be get verified, to whom the record has to be get shared, we have specified, share with the people also we have specified, and along with that we have specified the level of access also here. Okay, level of access also we have verified over here. Okay, now. So now here in this case here, we are verifying these conditions also. Now, sometimes my requirement will be purely dynamic. Okay, my requirement will be purely dynamic. Like, whenever I'm going to be sharing this record here, okay, whenever I'm sharing the record, upon creating the record has to meet all these conditions here. Okay, record has to meet all these conditions. Now, once a record is meeting the condition, then along with these values, I want to verify the annual revenue here. I want to verify annual revenue. If the annual revenue value is greater than 10 lakhs, okay, if the annual revenue of that account person is greater than 10 lakhs, I want to grant read-write access over here. I want to grant read-write access here. If the account's annual revenue is less than 10 lakhs, I want to grant read-only access here. Okay, I want to grant read-only access. Okay, that is my condition here. That is my requirement. Clear? Now, in this case here, after that, next one, whenever I'm going to be creating the record, I'm verifying all these conditions over here. Okay, I'm verifying all these conditions over here. So now in this case, upon sharing that record, if the account's records rating value is equals to heart, if the account record rating value is equals to heart, then I want to share the record to that Hyderabad sales group. Okay, I want to share the record to the Hyderabad sales group. If the account records rating value is equals to some warm, I want to share the record to that Bangalore sales group. If the account records rating value is equals to cold, I want to share the record to that Mumbai sales group here. Then how can we do this? That means what? Conditions, based on the conditions, I am going to sharing the record here also. But the problem is, here we are hard coding that people to whom you want to share the record. Okay? To whom you want to share the record, we are hard coding like this over here. Okay? To whom you are sharing the record, we are hard coding that. Okay? And then what level of access you are granting, we are hard coding this one here also. But sometimes I want to make it dynamic over here. I want to make it dynamic. Okay? Now, let me show you one practical scenario here. For example, I'm having my account record. Whenever I'm creating this account record over here, okay, whenever I'm creating my account record, my record has to be get shared to the people. Okay? My record has to be get shared to the people. To whom you want to share, I will decide dynamically at runtime. Okay? I will decide dynamically runtime to whom the record has to be get shared. Now let me explain. So now, to whom you want to share, I will select the people over here. For that one, I'm creating one lookup field over here. Okay, I'm creating a new lookup field inside my object here. So I'm creating a lookup relationship field with the object called as user. Okay, with the object called as user. So user will be the parent, account will be the child over here. Now I'm selecting that field over here. I'm mapping the association with the user object right now. User will be the parent and then account will be the child over here. I'm giving that field name. Share a record to. Okay? Now, I'm indicating that. Make the field to be get visible to the user. Now make it save. So I have created a lookup relationship field inside my account object here, which will be mapping the association with the user object here. Let's go to that account. Upon creating the account record, I'm entering some values over here. Now to whom you want to share the record, I will decide dynamically at runtime. Like here, I'm using this lookup icon. Users' names are populated. Over here, I'm selecting this manager user. When you click on save button, my record should say share to that manager user here. Okay. Sometimes here, once a record is created, I'm removing this one. I will select the user as testing user. Then it has to remove the access of manager user. It has to share the access to the testing user here. That means what? To whom I want to share the record, I'm deciding dynamically at runtime. We can choose to whom you want to share the record. And we can specify what level of access you would like to grant. Is it read only, read write? I would like to decide dynamically at runtime. Now tell me, that kind of possibility is there inside your sharing rule over here? Inside your sharing rule, do we have that possibility? No, because whenever we are creating the sharing rule, we have to specify what conditions needs to be verified, to whom you want to share, what level of access. This is a hard-coded values completely here. But I don't want these hard-coded values. I want a dynamic mechanism here. But this kind of dynamic mechanism will not be possible in sharing rules also over here. In sharing rule, upon creating the rule itself, we have to specify what level of access you would like to grant. But I will decide that level of access here. I will decide the user to whom I want to share dynamically at runtime. For that one here, at that time, this automated sharing also will not support. For that one, we can go with that Apex sharing mechanism here. Okay, Apex sharing mechanism. So this is a common question in every interview. So now, automated sharing and the Apex sharing. When should we go for Apex sharing here? Now, whenever if you want to decide the conditions dynamically at runtime, if you want to select the people to whom you want to share the record dynamically at runtime, if you want to select the level of access dynamically at runtime, then the only solution is we can go with that Apex sharing mechanism, which can be done with the help of triggers or process builder also we can do that. That possibility is there. Okay, but we have to write some code through Apex programming here. There, what classes we are going to use? Simply, okay, at that time we are going to be using the classes called as share classes. These are the share classes we are using to share the record through programming over here. As of now, what we are doing, we are sharing the record from user interface. Just to go to the record, click on sharing button, click on add button, select the user here to share the record. But now I want to come from the backend over here. I will insert the record from the backend, automatically record will be sharing to the user by default here. Okay. So now the manual sharing is a top to down approach, but the Apex sharing is bottom to up approach over here, bottom to top approach. Okay, we no need to share from the user interface. We have to go through programming over here. Okay, so for that reason, we are going to be using this share classes over here, which has been given by Salesforce, which we are especially using during that Apex sharing mechanism. So that here, if you want to select the people dynamically at runtime, if you want to share the record to the people with the required condition dynamically, if you want to select the access dynamically at runtime, then the only solution is Apex sharing mechanism, which we are going to be using here. Okay, at that time, automated sharing also will not be supporting to you. Okay, clear? Now. So this is the concept of sharing process in Salesforce. Okay. So now, as of now, we are done with that sharing mechanism over here. When we make the objects OWD as private, okay, we are done all these things. As of now, we are done with only the option private. Okay, we have so many other options are also available as part of OWD. Okay, now, so remaining options are very, very small. Like as public read only is a very small thing. Okay, it's like as 2 minutes topic, and then public read write 2 minutes topic. But the public read-write transfer is a bit lengthy topic over here again. Okay, there we need to discuss about the concept of queues. Okay. Now, clear up to now? So with this one, we are done with the sharing mechanism over here. Okay, how to share the record. Okay, manual sharing, automated sharing, Apex sharing here. In manual sharing, we have some drawbacks, so that we are going with that automated sharing. In automated sharing, again, we are having some drawbacks, so that we are going with that Apex sharing mechanism over here. Okay, now the next one, we are having few more options of OWD. We'll see in tomorrow's session here. Okay, in tomorrow's session, we'll see some more options. Like I'm going to be discussing about the public read only, and the public read write. These are 2 minutes topics here. These are not lengthy topics. These are very, very small. And then the next one is public read write transfer. So this is most important topic also here as part of your security. Here we are going to be discussing about the concept of how to transfer the record ownership. And there you can understand the difference between sharing and the record ownership transfer. How to transfer the record ownership. Here also again we have two ways. Manual, automated. How to do it manual, how to do it automated. Here both we'll see. There we are creating the concept of queues. Okay, we'll see what exactly a queue and what is the difference between a public group and a queue. We'll see practically over there. Okay, So don't miss the tomorrow's session. That will be very, very important for us.